Bienvenido, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Leadership Void Podcast. I'm Enrique with my co-host Vince to bring you the best in our veteran, military spouse, and first responder community. And Vince will introduce today's guest.
Epa, yes, right, Enrique. Thank you. Happy October, everyone. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. We're here with Franklin Samuels from the Gentleman Closet, a veteran-owned small business, Hispanic entrepreneur. He has locations in Washington, D.C. and in Maryland. Franklin, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, hello. And first and foremost, I want to thank you, Lauren and Enrique, for allowing me to be part of this great platform, the Leadership Void podcast. I mean, it is always great to see other veterans supporting other veterans, especially small businesses like myself, who just we paid our dues to our country. And then we will now pay our dues to our community. So it is always great. So thank you again for the great opportunity. It is a blessing. And then thank you. So I mean, basically, the Gentleman's Closet, it's a simple concept. It's a simple concept that started. I'm gonna give you a little story about before the Gentleman's Closet. I mean, the brand is under Liam Michael. Liam Michael is actually a real person. He's my son. So I do have a huge passion for men's shoes. So while I was in the military, stationed in Europe, Europeans dress a little bit different than Americans in this case. I came back to the state, my last duty station here in the Washington D.C. area, and then I was having a hard time finding men's shoes. European looks. I do have more shoes than the average man, I believe so, but I was having a hard time finding men's shoes in the DC area. So I found this great small store located in U Street. Gentleman became kind of my mentor. From that point on, my son was born. I went ahead and trademarked the logo, Liam Michael, which I didn't know exactly where I was going to be 10 years later. From that point on, I started consigning shoes from the trunk of my car, selling it from the trunk of my car to a lot of friends and family. Do remember my first order was 120 pairs of shoes, right? A lot of shoes. Didn't know what to do with all the shoes. So your friends never lie. So I contact some of my friends. They came here to my house. They saw the first batch. They say, well, you got something good. They purchased a couple, but I left with an additional 100 pairs of shoes. So at that point, I started reaching out to different, small businesses in DC, start consigning them, so I can get the name out, right? So in the middle of that, called my mentor. He allowed me to put my shoe line in his store, doing very well. And from that point on, I was kind of got tired of consigning shoes all over DC, dealing with different owners. So I found me a little place here in Maryland. It was like an abandoned mall, to be honest with y'all. But it was my own domain. It was a place for me that I can actually really gather all my shoes, all my ideas in one main location. And I was still serving, right? So, it was kind of hard serving, 7:30 to 4:30, trying to do shoes after duty hours and continue to hustle all over DC. But that was the first taste of me being, I call a full-blown entrepreneur, because they had to pay rent. They had to have other responsibilities as far as having a key, come up with a whole location. So in the middle of all that, the mall management kind of reached out to me and say, Franklin, the mall is getting ready to close, and I said, oh, wow. So I said, well, what I'm going to do? I said, you got to move, right? So, start finding for a real location. Find one like about less than a mile away from the main, the first place. And I named that first place the Gentleman's Closet. Do remember that I opened a Gentleman's Closet 1, which is located at 7935 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights here in Maryland. That opened in April 2018, the same year I was retired. And I kind of panicked because I retired in April and I opened my store in April without having a 9-to-5 job, without having an employee, right? I gonna share one little thing. I almost have a panic attack while I was doing everything by myself in the store. I was putting the walls up, the closets, the carpet, all that by myself. So do remember one day, I was trying to put one of those closets from IKEA. You know how difficult they are to put together. And in the middle of that, I panic because I say, man, what I'm doing? Like, like I don't have an employee. I'm just recently retired. I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. That I'm gonna succeed. That I'm gonna fail. So, Lord, I believe in a higher power. The higher power sent me a great individual who worked for me for about 1.5 years, and I start establishing the brand. Into, again, location number one. I'm gonna go ahead and read some of my notes because I'm all about notes too. But one thing that I learned about clothes in the gentleman's closet, clothes have a power that cut across social and economic lines, right? That's one thing that I don't care if you're a millionaire or you live in the projects or you are underprivileged kid. Clothes really is going to define who we are as a person, as an individual. I have a huge passion for first men clothing, and then now, men shoes, and now full-blown clothing. The gentleman's closet, it is a vision of Franklin, of trying to put my vision of men fashion in an urban way into having what I call my playground, on well, my customers in this case allowed to come into the gentleman's closet, buy things that are different, and most important, get outstanding customer service. Our mission is, we are in the business of creating happy moments and memories while providing outstanding customer service. And that's what we're all about. Hopefully I was able to explain a little bit what is the gentleman's closet. Now we have 3 great locations. We have, once again, the 7935 Central Avenue, Capitol Heights, Maryland. Second location is 217 North Charles, Baltimore, downtown Baltimore, here in Maryland. And I just opened my 3rd location right in the nation's capital, 1125 9th Street, Northwest Washington, D.C., right at the convention center. And then, I'll keep moving, I keep pushing, and welcome to the gentleman's closet.
Well, that's so good to hear. And it's nice to hear the transition story, right? Many people that are going from military to civilian get to that point of anxiety, high anxiety, because there's this transition from a regular paying job, if you will, to you're on your own. And so I love hearing about what you've created there with the gentleman's closet. Now, as an entrepreneur, you're going to find some challenges. You're going to have some lessons learned that you would love to share with our audience, but also share what you do with the community, because you mentioned closed as a binder, right? So share some of that with us.
Yeah. The good thing is I live in one of the predominant African-American counties in the United States, Prince George County, which, people look like us, minorities. So I really embedded myself into the community. I have a couple of state delegates that they are my customers. So while I do not only for the state, but also for my county, for the state, what we do, we donate a proceed of our sales to the Maryland Food Bank. It is important. I live in Maryland, and I will, it's the right thing to do to give back to the state. And then every Thanksgiving, I have one of my state delegates that he do a turkey drive. So we donate. Last year we donated about 45 turkeys to the county for families on the privileged families, so they can have a decent Thanksgiving. So, and then about literally 6 months ago, a school in Baltimore, at-risk school, reached out to the gentleman's closet in Baltimore, and they asked us if we can, talk to the kids. So they brought like about 15 middle school kids to the store in Baltimore, and me and my staff will be able to talk to the kids about entrepreneurship, about being a minority, discipline, what it takes. So, I mean, we're reaching out to the community in different ways. And I want to see other, minorities, there's got to be veterans and non-veterans to see me as a, not say sample, but to see me that we can do this all together. It's all about the money, but it's all about helping the community and supporting the state that you're in. And hopefully, you bring the opportunity to somebody else.
No, absolutely, Franklin. As you said, you paid your dues in the military. Now you're paying your dues to the community. So I appreciate everything you're doing. And I was at that first location back in that dilapidated mall buying my pair of shoes way back in the day. And here you have 3 locations. So kudos to you. So I'd love to know a little bit more about what's on the horizon for Gentleman's Closet.
Well, as I know, we have a small challenge. The location in Washington, D.C. is being closed for about 2 weeks due to a issue with the main door. Just got a text about 30 minutes ago that the part is here. We should be able to open that store, early next week. For me, I mean, what I'm really looking for, I'm want to continue to be part of the community. Want to continue to grow as a better boss, or I don't really call myself a boss. I call myself a creator, right? I have a staff of 9 who works for me. And then, take it one day at a time. We are expanding in our online platforms, e-commerce. So my goal is to increase that by at least 25% every year. As far as sales, we definitely have a huge print all over the United States. We have now customers are purchasing clothes online all the way from California, Oregon. We have customers who drive from Ohio, to Maryland. I did have a customer. I was at that location in Baltimore. He flew from Houston, Texas. Just flew so we can make his tuxedo for his wedding, and he flew back immediately. So my goal is to not only have a footprint within the DC, DMV area, is to actually expand that footprint to other states. Really would like to franchise the Gentleman's Closet. So if any of the viewers or listeners are, kind of would like to, talk to me about the franchise opportunity. Yeah, I think it's a great model. We do what we call just in time. You don't have to have a whole bunch of clothes in the store. I mean, we produce everything. Everything is under my own brand name. I'm talking about my shoes, my ties, my tuxedos, my suits, my shoes, my bags. I mean, everything. And then we have a great system, great standard operation procedures, great vendors. So my goal is to expand to other states. I personally don't have the bandwidth to do that anymore. I'm already busy with 3 stores. And a lot of other issues that I'm dealing, but I'm willing to teach and share my passion and give that to other, anybody else, any other veteran who's thinking about opening a store. If you're passionate about clothes, you're passionate about the community. What I like the most about the Gentleman's Closet is when the customers that we do a lot of winnings. 85% of the winnings is special events, because we carry over 500 tuxedos, and we can change any part of the garment within 25 days. You can come in, you want to change the lapel, the regular fabric of the jacket, the pants. We can do that within 25 days. We have all the fabric in stores. And so, I mean, the good thing about what I like the most about the Gentleman's Closet is when the customers get a chance to share the pictures of the weddings, right? With me or through social media. And then I share that with my staff, and I tell your work team, right? Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scene. And believe me, a lot of things happen behind the scene to make that wedding or that tuxedo to be available to that customer for his day, a day before, 2 days before. And then when they share that picture, we're going to be part of that. We're going to create most likely a new family, if they're newlyweds, first time, and they're going to be part of the community, and community is the foundation of a great country, right? So for me, getting those pictures, and we're going to be in somebody's living room probably for 35, 40 years, that's the biggest level of satisfaction that I can get, because I have done something that is just not normal. It's something that is beyond, for me, it's very special. That is be able to do something that is going to be in somebody's living room, and we're going to be part of the family for 35 to 40 years, so. There we go. Hopefully I was able to answer your question. So yeah, so any of the entrepreneurs, anybody of the listeners, Gentleman's Class is a great gig. I'm passionate about it. We continue to grow. And then my goal is to continue to increase the at least online platform, e-commerce sites for at least 25%. Who knows? They asking me if I want to open a store in another state, but I have my hands really tied with 3 right now. And every time I see my chest, because I don't have any hair here, it's getting wider and wider. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I want to keep my stress level kind of normal,
Well, true manifestation of your work when you see the pictures of your clients and you show your staff. Love that. Normally says 5 years is the stopping point of any entrepreneur. So April of 18, here it is. You passed that 5-year point. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
3 locations, doing wonderful. But again, it had a lot to do with your mindset, of course, not being stressed, having those gray hairs. Let's talk about experience and so on and on top. But let's talk about leadership. What do you do, Franklin, to sharpen your skill sets that aid you to thrive in your professional life?
Yeah. So, I believe that you have to have a balance anytime you are, I mean, if you have a hustle, or me, I have a real, business with like attorney and a CPA and a personal assistant and my developers. So what I do, me personally, I go for a walk at least twice a week. I mean, I cannot run like I used to do in the military anymore because those knees are busted, right, and ankles are busted. So I walk at least twice a week, and then while I'm walking, I'm always listening to a podcast, right? I'm listening to there's a gentleman right now. He's from South Africa that I listen to him a lot. He give you a different perspective about life and business. So I take a time to at least listen. While trying to do a walk at least 1 hour per day, well, twice a week, and I'm trying to listen. His podcasts are very short, 25, 35 minutes. Those are great. And then I read. So I always have a book here in the house, is either about, reading about great old businesses, who, still exist and how they be able to sustain themselves. Don't really read a whole lot about trends because I believe that we set the trends. I don't want to get caught up in what everybody else doing. But yeah, so for me, it's walking at least twice a week. I'm trying to have a balanced diet too as well, trying to get a good night's sleep, and then read and listen to podcasts. I mean, those things, and trying to stay away from negativity, right? For negative people and people who are not really going to influence you. I mean, like Magic Johnson said, if you had never make $1 million in business, how are you talking to me about a business? I mean, it's different. And I experienced that. I mean, getting an MBA and actually doing it in real life is a total different beast, right? And there's challenges that I experience every day. I learned to be more, to really appreciate grace with myself, with my staff, my customers. Before I used to just blow out. But there's things that, as a leader, I have learned that I have a staff of 8 that they look up to me. I got a great manager. I have a gentleman who used to manage 19 men warehouses, right? And he used to be a regional manager. Now he works for me. My main manager, she used to manage the main warehouse in Waldo here in Maryland. She works for me. She could be my mother. So me, I need trying to be on control, trying to what I call do a lot of team buildings, trying to motivate them. Don't get me wrong, when things are wrong. There's a place and time for everything. But me as a leader, I need to find, and I was looking for other tools that how can I be better, especially with people. That's the hardest thing to do, manage people, right? You can have a business thriving and you're making a lot of money, but the issue is always going to be people. People is the number one thing that I tell a lot of soon to be or who want to open a business. What is the hardest thing to do is not running the business, is managing the people who run in your business. That's the most difficult thing that you're going to experience, because everybody have different personalities. And yeah, so there we go.
Great points as to keeping yourself sharp, because it really does start with you. You have to have those elements in place to keep yourself right in order to be able to lead others. And talking about leading others, when you was in the military, you were led and you had the opportunity to lead. So
Right.
What advice did you receive that you would like to pass on to an emerging leader today?
Literally, I have about 4. The first one is believe in yourself, right? If you don't believe in yourself, nobody is going to believe in you, right? You cannot lead people if you cannot really see yourself as a leader, right? You definitely got to be able to believe in yourself and believe what you're doing is right. There's going to be some tough time. There has been some time that I'm being questioned myself about, did I want to continue to do this, right? So you definitely have to believe in yourself. Find something that you are passionate about. Find, if you're in business to make money, you are not going to succeed. If you're in business to help the community, or I'm gonna get into another point, or in this case, find a passion, find something that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about something, everything will come your way. Money will come your way. Great people want to collaborate with you. Great people want to work with you. I mean, you know, I watch a lot of those Fortune 500s. I mean, we're talking about the top three, right? Elon Musk, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, right? And, you know, I mean, and Cook, right? Talking about Apple. I mean, you know, the great companies everybody want to work for, right? But look at the leaders, right? They're passionate about this. Look at Elon Musk. I mean, I don't know how did he do it, right? This man, he's only 24 hours in a day. He always doing something. He doesn't really need the money, but he's passionate about what he's doing, you know? And then when you're passionate about what you're doing, other people will see that on you and they're willing to go all in for you, you know? Another thing, to take small steps, right? Take small steps to build your craft. You need to know what you're doing, right? You need to really educate yourself and everything about being an entrepreneur, right? Don't delegate and don't pay for everything. You know, if you don't know how to do your quarterly state taxes, as far as your sales and use taxes, pay back into the county or to the state, you need to learn how to do that. You know, if you don't know how to do a little bit of web developing, you need to learn how to do that, right? You need to learn how to do social media marketing. You need to learn how to do marketing, right? You need to be able to learn how to sell. Because what happened, if you delegate all that, if you don't really know those basic things as an entrepreneur, somebody's going to come over to your company, he or she's going to take over, or they're going to overcharge you about something, or they're going to tell you something that you don't know, and you will not know. So you need to really take small steps to learn your craft, every aspect of your craft, because that way I'm in example, nobody can really fool you, right? You know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, you have done it before. And some people are going to test you in the market. Some people are going to really know you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, they're going to take advantage of you. And the last one, business is about solving problems, right? That's what it's all about. We all here consumers. It's about solving problems, right? Customers are willing to pay to have someone to solve their problems or issue, right? If you're not solving real problems, and people are willing to pay for, you're not going to stay in business long, right? I tell people the main thing that if you're going to get in business, find something that you're going to solve a problem. That we are here to do problem solving, right? I found my niche. You know, I'm into the special events, especially weddings, and we do very elaborate tuxedos and suits and shoes. That's my niche. Right? We're solving that issue to the consumer, right? Where can I find a tuxedo that I need to have the tuxedo to be a purple, right? I need the lapel to be black. I need it to be all like this, right? Those are niche that you need to find. What is going to be my niche? Don't copy somebody else's niche, because then what happened? You just fall into somebody's bandwagon. Find and solve a problem of the society, of a community, that you say, there's a niche for this, right? Let me go ahead and open a business on this and that. And then you will be successful. I found mine. Will continue to sharpen my skills on my niche, but I'm here to solve problems for my community and solve problems for my customers. And then at the end of the day is when they leave the store and they're happy and they show me that picture, and that's like, wow, there we go. That was the reason we're here. We solved that problem. So there's a 4, right? Believe in yourself. Find something you're passionate about. Take small steps. And then find a business that you're going to be able to solve a problem.
Yeah, absolutely, Franklin. Those are great tips and advice that you learned through your entrepreneurship and your military career that can be applicable in so many different facets. So we appreciate that, and hopefully emerging leaders will get some great advice from that. Now, let's go now to a memorable leadership aha moment that you have had and experience that you would like to share with our audience today.
COVID really pivoted the business to be where we're really at today. Everybody shut down during COVID. You all remember that. I was trying to pay my rent, right? But before COVID, I was more into just selling regular suits, right? Regular suits, nothing special. But then during that year, 2020, 19 to 20, I started kind of making tuxedos for the prom season, and something spiked a little, right? And I was like, okay, wow, I'm not selling as many suits, but I'm selling a lot more tuxedos, right? So that changed the whole mission of the Gentleman's Closet, that was the aha moment to say, oh man, this is my niche. You know, my niche is not just selling regular suits. My niche is actually servicing the community who's looking for this type of things, right? So from that moment on, I really transformed the business into say, this is who we are, right? And that was the aha moment for me. That was the moment that the business went from kind of going flat to actually spiking, right? That for me kind of really changed the directory of the business, along with one of my oldest employees right now, Mr. Irv, which is kind of a mentor. He reached out to me. He's the gentleman who managed 19-man warehouse who retired. And he reached out to me, during COVID with a resume. And I was like, dude, I cannot pay you $250,000, man. Like, what are you talking about? You manage 19 stores, like, you out of your mind. Like, and he's like, no, frankly, like, I'll retire, but I want to continue to stay in fashion. I just want to do this for a couple of days. And man, he's been so fundamental into my growing as a business owner, especially in the fashion industry, because I have learned so much from him about fashion and clothing and customer service and how to talk to customers and what to look for in a good tuxedo, what is a crappy tuxedo, learn about the craft. So that for me, COVID really defined the aha moment for the Gentleman's Class.
And that was a definite challenge and change for the world. It looks like you assimilated to that challenge and made it something positive. So what are certain strategies that you use with yourself and team when these moments of change and challenge come?
Some of the strategies, you need to know what your customers are looking for, right? That's strategy number one. We did a huge kind of in-store meeting talking about, okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is gonna be our target audience, right? How we gonna promote that? Another strategy is, okay, we need to show real people wearing our real clothes, meaning we want those customers who are purchasing from the Gentleman's Closet. I want their pictures, and I want to let the world know that this is a real store making real stuff. Because social media, believe me or not, people want to be seen, right? Everybody want to be seen, and hey, look at where I am, and there's not a better marketing when you allow your customers to be your best influencers. So that's the strategy number two that I think that really define. People want to do business with the Gentleman's Class because everybody want to listen. You're spending $40,000-$50,000 on a wedding, right? You want everybody to see you, right? And rather than hire a model, right? I say, who are going to use what's going to be my business strategy for me to continue to grow? And I say, let me use my customers. They're my influencers. They will love to see themselves in our social media pages that we have like 193,000 followers, right? And we want to give them credit. So that strategy really worked and really helped us a lot to continue to grow.
No, absolutely. Great strategies, Franklin. We appreciate that. And you mentioned early on the strategies for yourself as far as, the walks and the podcast. So those are definitely great. And hopefully the Leadership Void will be on that podcast list soon. But, folks listening in and heard about where the locations are of your three stores, how do they contact you or the Gentleman's Closet itself?
Yeah. So Gentleman's Closet, location number one, or I'm going to just go to all three, 7935 Central Avenue, Capitol Heights, Maryland. The phone number to our location is 301-433-8478. Gentleman's Closet, Baltimore, located at 217 North Charles Street, downtown Baltimore. Beautiful location. Wow, amazing. Brick. I mean, it's like, wow, phone number over there is 443-388-8474. Again, 443-388-8474. Gentleman's Closet, Washington, D.C., located 1125 9th Street, Washington, D.C., right at the convention center. Wow, another beautiful kiosk for the nation's capital. Phone number over there is 202-450-1834. You can always open online at www.thegentsclosetweb.com. Again, it's thegentsclosetweb.com. THEGENTSCLOSETWEB.com. That's the store, online platform. The shoe online platform is www.leonmichaelshoes.com. LIAMMICHAELSHOES.com. oes.com. Those are the two great platforms. You can, if you go into the website, thegensclosetweb.com, every store have their own inbox too as well. The one in the 7935 is comments at thegensclosetweb.com. The one in Baltimore is the TGC Baltimore at thegensclosetweb.com. The one in Washington, D.C. is TGC Washington, D.C. at thegensclosetweb.com.
And folks, we're going to have all of that information as part of the show notes and our videos so that you can get a hold of those resources. Franklin, it's been a great time to speaking with you. And folks, if you want to get a hold of us at the Leadership Void podcast, theleadershipvoid@gmail.com is where you'll send that correspondence. If you would like to see a featured guest or a topic covered in the leadership realm, we would love to hear about it.
Absolutely. Also, I would like to let you know that we're just honored to have our sponsors as Triple Nickel, VEI, and FAVOP sponsoring the Leadership Void all year out. Kudos to everything they do. And we want to say, Franklin, happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Gentleman Closet, much success, and enjoy the future endeavors.